Happy Monday and good afternoon, everyone. We will be on right after this song.
If I had an opportunity to let these little young sahabs know something, to take care of y'all bodies, you know what I mean? Don't take care of y'all chicken. You feel me? Don't take care of y'all mentals, because little we ain't lasting that long.
OKC, I'm a tad bit eclectic. Thoughts tangential and torredic. Sprinkle ADHD and my dreams become prophetic. Deaths and overdoses, suicides and wedding dresses. A curse that devolves and messes over a gift that truly blesses. Visions of a future of successes. Yet me none of these ladies are impressed with. Girls be thinking I'm obsessive or I'm thirsty.
How do I tell them I feel unworthy?
They say the grass is always greener on the other side, but you never see it till you die, so why the hell do I try? I feel like everything I do is wrong, and that is why I spend my time trying to ride, while my life is like a lie. They say the grass is always greener on the other side, but you never see it till you die, so why the hell do I try? I feel like everything I do is wrong, and that is why I spend my time trying to ride, while my life is like a lie. I can write, direct, and act, can even rhyme and rap. Humble and don't see it as a big deal, why is that? I was used, abused, beaten, battered, made to sat and play by myself, yeah, it's whack. See, I grew up lonely and sad, got angry like my dad, spit venom like my mom and grew to hate myself along the way and never learned the social skills to play in low world, but shit was just a fad, I finally gone full mad. They say the grass is always greener on the other side, but you never see it till you die, so why the hell do I try? I feel like everything I do is wrong, and that is why I spend my time trying to ride, while my life is like a lie. They say the grass is always greener on the other side, but you never see it till you die, so why the hell do I try? I feel like everything I do is wrong, and that is why I spend my time trying to ride, while my life is like a lie. Imposter syndrome makes me mope.
Tell them.
My emotions are a kaleidoscope. When a words does that make me feel worthy, yet nope. Therapy has taught me how to cope.
Damn.
I've learned it can't be done by smoking dope,
Or,
getting blackout drunk like a trope,
or,
meeting women to unrobe and probe,
or,
getting busy cause it makes my heart want to explode.
Damn.
I've learned you just gotta meditate when
damn,
you feeling angry and you straight hating.
damn,
Life and your friends think you're flaking.
damn,
If only they could know why I'm debating.
damn.
If only women knew what I was waiting.
Tell them.
Easy for the other guys, for me frustrates, and my brain's in another dimension, translating the pain in my heart as I write this praying. They say the grass is always greener on the other side, but you never see it till you die, so why the hell do I try? I feel like everything I do is wrong, and that is why I spend my time trying to ride, while my life is like a lie. They say the grass is always greener on the other side, but you never see it till you die, so why the hell do I try? I feel like everything I do is wrong, and that is why I spend my time trying to ride, while my life is like a lie. If you got problems in your life, or you just feel like you need to talk to somebody, please do. It's important to take care of our mental health, because otherwise, we're crazy like the rest of the world. I hope you find peace and love.
Hello, I'm Thor, son of Dale, here to tell you about the Life of Thor Productions official shop, the only place where you can get your official merchandise for the Lights of Thunder Action podcast and Life of Thor's Thor Watches series. Whether you want t-shirts, tanks, hoodies, mugs, and masks, Life of Thor Productions official shop has you covered. If you happen to recognize there's an item that you would like to buy that is not in the official shop, head over to the Lights of Thunder Action podcast or Life of Thor and request that item, because if you want it, we'll sell it. Just head to lotproductions.threadless.com/collections to get the item that calls out to you via the Force. Again, that is lotproductions.threadless.com/collections. Thank you, and have a Thor-tastic day. Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to episode 40 of
40.
Light Thunder Action, where every week we discuss all things DC, Marvel, Star Wars, and the latest happenings in the entertainment industry. I am Thomas Carter Rochester, aka Son of Dale.
And my name is David Thompson, and today we've got a lot of news for. Can you hear me?
I can. Is your Yeti working?
I can't hear you.
I have taken over. I don't know why I became evil. Yeah, I don't know what's going on, David. Your mic, not working. Technology issues, everyone. You sound
technology, better. Everyone. We're off to a hot start today.
You good? Say words. Anyways, this week we've got a bunch of stuff going on. Fighting technology, finishing show notes. We're just grinding away, I would say, till our knuckles bleed, but mine bleed every day. So it's not really saying much for me. Today, ladies and gentlemen, I'm gonna try and I don't know this part of the show where David says really cool stuff, so I have to say it now. Scary. I'm sorry. We have Feige news. He brings all of the news. Lightning news ain't gonna be that lightning, except for electrifying. Of course, we're wrapping the trilogy of trilogies with Infinity War / 10 minutes of Endgame. And that's leading us on our final 4 days until WandaVision, because, oh, baby, it starts on Friday at 2 a.m. Central Standard Time. For me, sucks to be you guys on the East Coast. Anyways,
I think I'm back.
Sweet.
I apologize, everyone. Did you get through all of the what's coming up?
I got just up to the new segment, which
yes,
intro.
So Thor is going to be joining us in a bit, ladies and gentlemen, and he will be reviewing a spoiler-free rendition review of Light of the Jedi, the brand new High Republic Star Wars book. Can't wait for that. Coming up very soon, a new segment we're going to be calling Thor's Library. So check that out. Thomas, sorry for the technical difficulties. I don't know what just happened. How you doing today, bud?
I'm good, man. It's hilarious that happened, because what did we say right before we went live? You know what? Screw it. We're gonna wing it and see what happens. We have a lot of show notes, so whatever happens, happens.
I don't even know what happened. I think the mic got slightly unplugged, and then I think it got confused. I just reset everything, and then it worked fine. So now we're here. It's all good.
Yeah, as soon as you started talking, I was like, he did not sound like that before we went live. So I got caught off guard right off the bat. All right, so I'm good, brother. I'm doing a lot better than you. I know you've had a little bit of a painful weekend. What have you been watching, my dude?
Yeah, so I have been watching, oh my gosh, I can't even remember. Well, first, I kind of want to remember because I was watching a lot of football. Yes. This week was the NFL wildcard playoffs. Very exciting for us that enjoy football. And the Colts, my beloved Colts, did unfortunately lose to the Buffalo Bills. It was a hard-fought game. I think in retrospect, I'm not as mad as I was when I first watched it, or when I was first trying to watch it, because I was at work when it was actually happening. So I was running back and forth trying to get to the break room and watch it. It was pretty unfortunate. But
bless you.
Thank you. Watch that. That was pretty unfortunate. Thomas, what have you been watching?
We've been watching the exact same stuff. So now is my point where I tell you my insane fan theory, my hot take, my spicy web for the AFC playoffs. Now, the NFC, honestly, wildly up for grabs. The Packers are about to play the Rams. If Aaron Donald can do Aaron Donald things, who knows what'll happen. We've got the Bucks and the Saints. Disgusting. Oh, my God. I guess go Saints.
Go Bucks.
But in the AFC, are you kidding? In the AFC, I got a gut feeling. I don't have as much of a I just got this weird feeling because of how historic this season has been. The Bills just won their first playoff game, unfortunately, against your Colts. For the first time since 1995. David, were you alive?
No.
No, he was not. And then last night, the Brownies, the Browns is the Browns, and they came through and they won in Pittsburgh for the first time in, I believe it is 16 years. They've lost 17 straight games in Pittsburgh, but they won their first playoff game since 1994. David still was not alive. I was. How weird is it to hear that? Well, let's put it like this. Bill Belichick was the coach of the Browns and beat Bill Parcells, who was one of his mentors, if I'm not mistaken. And more importantly, he was the coach of the Patriots at the time.
Yeah.
Wild, right? So I'm going Browns-Bills AFC title game.
You think the Browns are going to beat the Chiefs?
I think
That's a real hot take.
I know, man. I was watching and I'm like, dude, like momentum is everything in this game.
Yeah.
Like it really is.
Yeah.
The Chiefs have had, their starters have had 2 weeks off. They didn't play the starters in week 17. So they've got a lot of rest. They have not been the most technically great this season. There's potential. I'm not saying it will happen.
Yeah.
But if that defensive line can pull off the pressure that they pulled off against Big Ben, which totally different quarterbacks, but if they can do that, man, as Mike Singletary has always said, pressure is everything. And coming up the middle, I just think, I don't know. I had a gut feeling. So either I'm 100% right and it's Browns Bills, or I'm 100% wrong and both teams lose. So I don't want to make it an absolute, but it's one or the other.
Yeah, I mean the most likely is Bills Chiefs just because they're the highest seeds. But I don't know. I mean the Colts played the Bills really tough. And looking back, we played a really good game. We just had small lapses that screwed us over. The missed field goal, the uses of our timeouts, a dumb challenge, stuff like that. But our offense was doing well, and we were containing the Bills. And the Bills' offense is supposed to be the greatest thing ever behind the Chiefs. But yeah, it was a fun weekend of football. I loved how they expanded the playoffs this year, where we got 6 games wildcard weekend. From now on, the wildcard weekend is just going to be the best because you get 3 games in over 2 days. It's amazing, and they're all they all mean everything to these teams. So really good weekend of football. I was also very excited to watch the Marvel's Legends, which came out on Disney Plus. Yes. That was enjoyable, right? It was just a recap. Go check it out if you guys want. It's kind of just a less intense version of what we've been doing here in Lights Thunder Action with our Trilogy of Trilogies. Because they basically just went through, there's 2 episodes up. It's a 7-minute Wanda episode and then a 5-minute Vision episode. They broke down basically their whole storylines up until this point, leading us into WandaVision next week, of course. And you imagine that Legends will continue probably before every upcoming project from now on. Like Falcon Winter Soldier, we'll probably get Winter Soldiers and the Falcons. Before Black Widow, maybe we get Black Widows. Before Loki, we get Lokis. All that sort of stuff. I think it's a really cool idea. And especially because there's been such a layoff from the MCU. It's a really smart idea, especially when you're pulling all these people to Disney Plus to watch these shows, to now get people that are on there oh, what's this? A little recap. Because I know more casual fans love recaps. They think it's really useful. Even us, it's really nice just to repeat. I mean, look at us watching all these movies.
It is so good that I didn't actually, spoiler alert, ladies, I didn't watch Infinity War or Endgame this week. I watched that and was like, oh.
I'm done, yeah.
I'm done. Because I already knew the big points and then even some of those little points of, they have 10 or 15 minutes of screen time together in Infinity War? WandaVision on screen, I think each 10-ish minutes or so.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So I already kind of remembered what that was. And then in Endgame, it's just her kicking Thanos' ass and then being all sad and stuff by grieving by the water.
Right.
Same,
Yeah.
But yeah, it was really good. David, I know that we also watched something else in common this week.
We did. What was that? Friday night? Thursday?
Friday night.
It was Friday night.
8 p.m. my time. So what was it? 9 your time?
9. Yeah, 9 to 1 it was on.
Yeah, 9 to 1. A 4-hour Revenge of the Sith supercut by Superhero Theorist.
Yeah.
Oh, and is it amazing?
Really cool job. I thought they did.
I see. I as soon as Siege of Mandalore came out, all I could think was, I want someone to cut this together into the timeline of the movie, and he didn't just do that. He brought in the deleted scenes that basically give all of the plot to Natalie Portman, which has been my biggest, angriest thing about Revenge of the Sith, is that they turned her into a damsel in distress, and she's the bloody MacGuffin.
Yeah,
and then with those two scenes completely changed her entire story as it goes on.
Yeah. I thought the deleted scenes were a really interesting addition, because that's something that I wasn't expecting very much. I had read he was the superior theorists, they were kind of coy in how they described what the cut was, because they didn't explicitly say like it's gonna be, they didn't beat for beat say it's gonna be deleted scenes and Clone Wars and all this stuff combined. It was more just like, oh, we redid like some of the music, and it was 4 hours, so we had to assume they were introducing Clone Wars into it and mixing it up. It was really cool. I mean, it's a shame because of the rights and stuff. They're kind of just like, hey, we're playing this today for 4 hours, and that's it. Like, we're not gonna have any more of it. We're not, all this stuff. They're just like, we're just streaming it today, and that'll be it. And I hope you enjoy. And like, there's like 15,000 people watching concurrently, it seemed like. So
it's awesome. Yeah, there was. I think that was the second screening, because Terry's who's the one who introduced it to us. The social media master, Terry McIver, always staying up late as balls over there in Ireland. And he sent it to us and is like, I didn't look at it. And then I saw the picture and I was like, oh my God, I need it.
Yeah.
Oh my God, I'm dead. Like, that's all I could think about. And I scheduled myself specifically so I could be home and watch that. And it's 100% fracked up my sleep schedule.
Yeah, no doubt. It was good though, right? And I didn't watch. I watched, I'd say most of it ish. I watched like the first hour, but this is 4 hours talking about. Took a little hiatus, stopped watching. I think it turned on Infinity War. Football wasn't on. Anyway, and then got back to it once it was like once Order 66 was happening. So I caught the final battle. I caught the sweet post-credit scene. That was such a good addition, and that was kind of the like Apple one more thing moment when everyone. Then I was watching it. I put up the chat because I wanted to see like what everyone was saying, and when that happened, everyone was just losing. You're like, oh my gosh, this is so good, because he kind of changed. That was one of the biggest creative. I don't know the way of putting it. Liberties. Yeah, sure. It kind of like, that's how he changed the story the most, where he kind of just like added to it and made two, he basically made 3 pieces of Star Wars content wrap into this one scene. That was really, or 2 for the most part, but still with Revenge of the Sith, because it is the Revenge of the Sith cut. And he made it this whole thing. And when the first title screen pops up at the end, when the credits roll, I'm like, oh crap, like, gonna show that final scene from Clone Wars, but then he wraps it back up, and oh man, like, I don't really want to spoil it for you, but ladies and gentlemen, I'm gonna to spoil it only because we don't know if it'll ever come on. When Anakin, see what I did there? I already slipped up. When Vader at the end of Clone Wars walks out and finds that lightsaber, there's a scene in Rebels when Ahsoka is meditating and she's thinking about Anakin, and she's yet to meet Vader and yet to get to that like cliffhanger that they gave us for almost 2 seasons or something like that before she fights Vader, and it's Anakin like talking to her and look what I've become, and then it turns into Vader. He interspliced those 2 together to where, because we don't know when that scene in the end of Clone Wars officially takes place. We do not know. It could be at that point in Rebels. It could have been 5 years after that happened. We just weren't sure. But the way it's cut together, my new official headcanon. Yeah,
100%.
No, exactly, and that's the fun part of it. That was the creative liberty he took. He's like, hey, this is like how I'm going to tell this part that I've clearly been a fan of and loved, and made this whole thing and brought in Rebels when that hadn't been obviously it wasn't in the rest of the movie, and he redid some of the music with flow a lot better. It really moved really well, and it does feel like I would say the way because the way they've told the last 20 years with doing Revenge of the Sith, doing the sequels, and then doing Clone Wars, there you do feel that kind of like the different in scale of the storytelling, but it was impressive how well he blended it together because you can see in Clone Wars where they try to like pinhole like all these moments in to make it fit really well with Revenge of the Sith. And it ultimately did. I mean, it was really cool seeing like Obi-Wan over a what is it? A hologram. And then kind of cut to the next scene and it's actually him and all this cool stuff. Like that was really, really neat. I thought it was really cool. And I mean, it was 4 hours long, but hey, I'd buy it on Blu-ray. That was pretty sweet. And for someone who wasn't a big Clone War, even if you had never even seen Clone Wars, I'd say it still would be cool. But for the big fans that love Clone Wars and love all this stuff, it was a really cool way of telling that story because that's kind of how it's supposed to be told in a way. Like it felt like a director's cut and just throwing everything that happened right then at you. And it was really cool. So that was pretty much it. Shout out to Superhero Theorist. That was a fun way to spend our Friday night.
Yes. And does that wrap up everything you watched? I think it does.
Yeah.
So for me, I've also been watching Star Wars Resistance because I needed a new Star Wars thing to consume. And it's a lot of fun. It's slowly building up. I'm only like 8 or 9 episodes in. There's only 2 seasons, but really good so far. Also in charge of it was Filoni. It ties into certain things really well. And we're kind of really seeing, it looks like it's going to end up leading specifically to the revelation of what the First Order is actually doing. We also see Starkiller Base at one point. And I was unexpected with that one. I was like, that's pretty cool, actually.
That's cool.
So yeah, that's what I've been watching. David, can you take the comms?
Yeah. So, ladies and gentlemen, we are introducing our new segment, Thor's Library, when Thor, not Thomas, is going to come in and talk everything Light of the Jedi, which is coming up very shortly. It's going to be a spoiler-free review. Look out. It just came out. It's the first project coming out for the High Republic Star Wars series, which is very exciting. And I think Thor is ready if he wants to come in. Enter Thor.
Hello there. I'm Thor, son of Dale, and I want to welcome you, ladies and gentlemen, to the first ever Thor's Library. It smells of rich mahogany here. I'm going to dive right in right here, right now. Listen, we're talking Light of the Jedi, folks. Spoiler-free review. Do not worry. I will not spoil a damn thing because it's that good. This is the Jedi at its purest and in its best form. They're trying everything to save people. Even experimental things in the Force. As true peacekeepers, they even refrain from using the mind touch because of its impediment upon free will. To summarize, this is not the Jedi of the prequels. That's for sure. The plot has twists, it has turns, it makes you fall in love with good folks and bad folks, but really it's the balance of chaos and order within the governing bodies within the universe that make it the perfect book for right meow. The Republic and the Nihil. Amazing setups. But let's be real, the Jedi are all the main characters of this book, and they inspired hope within me as I was listening along. And it shows us what we've always wanted to see since Luke, and thereby the audience, was sitting in Obi-Wan Kenobi's little hut listening to him speak. The Jedi Knights being the guardians of peace and justice in the galaxy. We finally get that. Charles Soule hits it out of the park in the writing department. I'm not a writer, so I'm going to have to move on to the stuff that I'm a little bit more involved with. I scrolled too far. For Penguin House audio side, Mark Thompson, he's having the most fun out of all of us. And you can tell by the way his narration takes an extra dip into the character's mind. His unique voices throughout and great music. Some sounded as if it was original. I could be wrong with that one. And then there are classic songs in different keys, revealing a totally different vibe, bro. Example, the Imperial March in a high-key up-tempo sweep. Oh my God, it's amazing. P.S. Knowing that this will eventually lead to the end of the High Republic, and thereby leading to the Acolyte, it's made me look into every character and explore their intentions as they're written. And to me, in my opinion, the villain is an obvious key in the reemergence of the dark side. After everyone has had time to read/listen to the book. Speaking of, have you ever listened to an audiobook before? Would you like a free audiobook copy of Light of the Jedi? Well, follow Lights Thunder Action on Facebook, and you will be able to do words. I'm so sorry. Everyone, follow Lights Thunder Action on Facebook and leave a comment on the pinned post. It's important to remember the pinned post. We will select a winner at random, and I will send the book via the Lights Thunder Action email. There are terms and conditions, and that's not from me. That's from Audible. You have to have never accepted a book from a friend before, I believe is how it works. I will get more detailed descriptions of that in the future. But while you're at it, why don't you go ahead and follow us on all of the social media. That is Lights Thunder Action Show, because we go live right here and on the HWWS WebTV channel on YouTube every week. You can also follow us on Instagram at Lights Thunder Action, all one word, no hyphens, no spaces. And of course, at LTA Podcasting, that is LTA PODCASTING on Twitter. And of course, where we have released some exclusive clips this week, that is Lights Thunder Action ! We just released the Wonder Woman review. Yes.
Yep.
And
Wonder Woman. Yeah. Spoiler and spoiler free.
Yes. Very important. What's coming out tomorrow, good sir?
Tomorrow we will be going back, if you watch our live shows or the audio or listen to our audio podcast, and we will be splicing up, just taking the segments out for Age of Ultron previewing for WandaVision. And we will be doing that for every day leading up to Friday. So Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, look out for just our, 30 minutes to an hour segment, including the one today, later on today, that will come out on Thursday on YouTube, of previewing and Trilogy of Trilogies style for WandaVision. And if you haven't already subscribed and followed to our audio podcast, please go ahead and do so. We are on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, and our hosting site, Spreaker. Go check us out there. Leave us a review if you want. A great one would be fantastic, but any will do. Follow, subscribe. If you are driving, go for a run. Can't catch all of our live show. Don't want to rewatch the video. Don't want to look at our ugly mugs. Go check out our audio podcast. It's great. It's high quality. It's our entire show. We have our full catalog of shows there if you want to catch up, and more interviews and stuff like that. Thomas, what else we got?
So as we said, speaking of the podcast, we mentioned a pinned post.
Mm-hmm.
We at Lights Thunder Action have been nominated for the Independent Creators Network Podcast of the Year award. I had a random word in the middle of that, and I just blanked on why it was there.
Help us out.
Yes. So if you go to our pinned post on Facebook and join that group, you'll be able to show your support for us by voting. We have some friends also in the podcast realm there, Legend of the Traveling Tardis, Power Rangers in Cyberspace. They're on there as well. So you can vote for every single one of them if you want. You really can. While you're there, don't forget to leave a comment on that pinned post so that you can get your free audio copy of Light of the Jedi. Again, terms. You cannot have received an audiobook from a friend before. Yeah. I will have to reword that because I want it to be very clear. But let's just say, what's today? We'll give it a week. Next week we'll pick a winner.
Yeah.
And we might do this more often. We might do this for other things, other promotions. Speaking of quick promotions, because David, we didn't talk about it. We're wearing our own shirts. Like, how prestigious are we? So you can buy that shirt right there, the Lights Thunder Action original logo. Or you can buy, not right now. I will be taking this down. I forgot to today. That was kind of my big deal. The LTA for life. That's not what I wanted to do. Oh my God. Here we go. That's it. LTA for life, Lights Thunder Action in the NWO font, courtesy of Terry McIver. much excited. I love this thing. It's got to have a couple updates for it to be better, so it pops a little more. And that's why I was willing to be the guinea pig on this shirt, because
Go by this one. This one's sick.
That one is there. And yeah, that means David, where are we at? Oh, that's where we're at. Okay, so ladies and gentlemen, we're going to take a very brief ad break while we get our brains back on point, because we're about to go into everyone's favorite segment, and it'll be What the News. But first, a word from our friends at Reels and Heels. Reels and Heels is a podcast that discusses movies, television, wrestling, and more. With a rotating guest list of friends and filmmakers alike, Reels and Heels salutes the creative arts of all kinds. Join Brian Winzeloff and Nicole Jobin live every Saturday at 2:15 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for Reels and Heels. And of course, as I just mentioned, that leads to everybody's favorite segment of the week. What the news?
All right, what the news, ladies and gentlemen? Let's begin with the Thunder news. And here we go. We have a pretty big story coming out now that is about a project that hasn't been talked about very much, which is Kevin Feige's Star Wars film. As we know, Kevin Feige is the... What's up?
Oops, I put the wrong graphic up.
Oh, that's okay. I mean, it's related. Kevin Feige, of course, as we know, is... He's like the president of Marvel at this point, because I think he even oversees the like comics and all of that good stuff. Obviously an employee of Disney. Kevin Feige is coming out with his producing a Star Wars film. Kevin Feige's produced a lot of films in his day, and now he's going to dive into Star Wars. He's a lifelong fan of it, and he's found his writer. So Deadline has reported that the Loki head writer, also writer for Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness, so a big Marvel writer now. He also was the writer, what we know him so far of, because Loki and Doctor Strange haven't come out yet, Rick and Morty. He's one of the writers on Rick and Morty. Michael Waldron.
Oh my.
Write a new Star Wars feature film that Marvel Studios president, Kevin Feige, of course, will produce and develop for Disney and Lucasfilm. Here's a bit of the news that's pretty interesting, is that apparently Deadline writes here, part of an unprecedented overall deal Waldron has signed with the studios that Disney has rarely given in recent years. So basically, it seems like Waldron has been signed on by Disney. He's writing for Loki, for Doctor Strange, for Star Wars. It's all Disney, and he's signed on to write multiple projects. So I guess they really like him as a writer and are excited for what he's going to be putting out. Which, honestly, to me, I'm excited for Kevin Feige's Star Wars film just because I love Kevin Feige and I think he would be a really good contributor to that universe. I don't want him to get stretched too thin, but I think he has a really good team around him, so it'll be fine. It only seems he's working on the one Star Wars story. Maybe there'll be more because I know he loves to, obviously, MCU loves to branch out and connect things. But Michael Waldron joining, I'm excited now. I've been excited. I'm even more excited for Loki and Doctor Strange, as much as just a little bit, because this is showing that they're really liking what they're seeing from him. And I can only be way more excited for this Kevin Feige Star Wars film, because we've heard barely anything about it. We have no idea any of the plot, the era, the timeline, there was no announcement on this movie, not even an update at the investor meeting. While there was a slight one for the Taika Waititi movie, there was none for Kevin Feige, Kevin Feige's produced film. But we got a report here. Michael Waldron's set to write. I don't know what that means for this. I'm trying to connect something where this could give us an idea of what it will be about, but I don't know. I mean, he did Rick and Morty, so maybe it's a comedy, but is Doctor Strange going to really be a comedy? Loki kind of will be Loki.
I'm sorry,
Thomas, what are your thoughts on this?
I have an idea, but I can't say a damn thing because it's a spoiler for Light of the Jedi. It's kind of the plot point. It's the MacGuffin of the whole book. I had this idea while reading that maybe not the World Between Worlds was being used. Yeah. Again, I'm reading in between things, but if we're going to bring a guy who's wrote Loki, Rick and Morty, Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness. And
Yeah.
so we're at a Star Wars. Well, I don't know. Maybe this whole thing would be about the world between worlds and the usage of it and all that good stuff. That's what I thought. I don't know. Am I right? Probably not, because I always jump to time. Like every time. I always am thinking it's time based or portal based. So yeah.
I'm curious to see it even more than I'm glad we're getting any news on this. I'm curious to see what else Waldron will be working on, because it seems like he's signed a pretty big deal with Disney. Makes me very curious about Loki, just to see why is he so good? I love Rick and Morty, but is Loki something that they've never seen before? Because it is, like I said, unprecedented. This doesn't happen every day that all of a sudden they're getting the same writer to write, 3 that are going to be huge projects in Loki, Doctor Strange, and now a Star Wars film that is unclear how big of a deal that could be, because it's Star Wars and they don't have films coming out in that universe. It's almost entirely Disney Plus shows right now. So very curious to see it. And are you any more on this, Thomas?
No, just rabbit holes. Man.
No. Speaking of, is it going to come out on streaming? A film in a theatrical release? HBO Max, Former Brothers. Here we go.
God versus King. David, I love that. Tell the people on the audio version what you're listening to. What they're seeing.
I'm looking at King K. Rool and DK from Smash looking at each other.
All right, I'll get the real one up. Oh wait.
No, forget the real one. I like the other one.
You want to know what this really is, though? Like, I realized I made this joke because I saw it coming. This is actually not about Godzilla versus Kong. This is about Warner Brothers versus Legendary Pictures.
Yeah. Thomas, can you hear me okay?
You're on your laptop mic again.
I don't know what's happening. I'll be right back, ladies.
Are you on the split? Oh, he's gone. So this is about Warner Brothers versus Legendary Pictures. What does that mean for all of us? Well, The Hollywood Reporter came out and saying that it appears that Godzilla vs. Kong will be roaring for Warner Brothers after all. The studio is nearing a deal with Legendary Entertainment with respect to the release of Godzilla vs. Kong, sources tell The Hollywood Reporter. We are directly going to quote this article because safety first, right? You cite your sources and all that good fun stuff. An agreement means the parties are close to averting a potential legal confrontation over Warner Media's surprise decision to put its entire 2021 slate on its HBO Max streamer. On the same date, my God, I totally don't know what I just read. That's such a confusing sentence. This is why I'm not a writer. An agreement between the parties means they're averting that over Warner Brothers' surprise decision to put its entire 2021 slate on its HBO Max streamer on the same date that the film opens in theaters. Warner's unprecedented December 3rd announcement caught all talent and stuff. So, David, you've read it. You understand reporter talk. Can you? So, was it going to be day? Yeah, right. Don't you love it?
Yeah.
Day and date. Was it supposed to be day and date in the theater and on streamer or just streaming? I thought it was just streaming because this quote confused the balls out of me.
Day and date. So all of that HBO Max announcement was that every single movie from 2020 is going to be day and date for all of their films. That was the surprise announcement for December 3rd.
Okay. I thought they were saying it's not going in theaters at all. It's all going only on HBO is what I took.
No,
that was the original thing.
When Former Bros said the announcement on December 3rd, it was every single film that we have coming out that we are working on other studios with, and because they have the hierarchy, unbeknownst to the other studios like Legendary Pictures in this instance, are going on HBO Max as well as the theaters. So we were always going to be able to go out to a theater if it was open, but they were not going to delay or. It was basically going to be like Wonder Woman was the first one for Warner Bros. And it's just going to be like that for the rest of the year, where it's Wonder Woman was in theaters. We both watched it on HBO Max, and that was going to be the way for all these other films. of 2021, and the studios didn't know. So what's crazy too is to finish off this like bit of like news. Here's a quote from here. Legendary was considered the likeliest of Warner Bros. The likeliest of financing partner to sue litigation following the studio's surprise decision, because it financed 75% of Godzilla and was prepared to accept a $225 million plus Netflix offer for the film. Warner Bros. Former Bros. Blocked the deal. So this is such an interesting look into Hollywood, I think. These studios work together. I don't even, honestly, part of me doesn't even get it. Like Legendary Pictures, was funding most of it. And they don't really have like the rights to it in a way. But here we go. So this is what's going to happen now. Sorry, I was needing to kind of rear. It will be coming to theaters. This whole thing's a disaster. It's Warner Brothers making this decision has having so much just negative effects on the movie industry when it comes to actors and fellow studios, and I think it's really, really not going to be a good move from them when you look back at it, because you're seeing, like I was saying, the former bros, like all this backlash, and I think I think the decision to do day and date isn't like the craziest thing in the world in today's world, right? But I think doing it with the lack of communication and the iron fist they seem to be doing everything with, and then we're getting those weird stories about how they're treating Gal Gadot better than Will Smith and Margot Robbie and all this stuff that just is really just throwing them all under the bus. I'm excited for this film. On another note, I think this is a film that you would think you want to see in theaters. The reason they're making this film is for a theatrical release. So you understand what Legendary would be like, no, we're not putting it straight on HBO Max. It can go in there in 6. This is a film that people want to go to a theater for. That's what people watch these big blockbusters. They don't watch them at home with their kids because that's not as exciting. You go out to the theater, you go see Fast and Furious in theaters, stuff like that, where it's a lot of action. In this case, giant monsters fighting each other. You want to go see it in like IMAX. That's where I'd want to go see it. So you got to really, the problem with the decision, in my opinion, initially, is it should have maybe been, on a per movie basis. It shouldn't have been just, we're Warner Brothers. All of our movies are going to come out on HBO Max day and date. I think they could have done one at a time, discussed it with the film creators and the other studio, and figured it out. Godzilla vs. Kong should never be a straight to streaming movie. Just delay it. It'll make more money that way. I know they're trying. That's the whole point of all this. AT&T and Warner Media is thinking we're just going to try to build up HBO Max because their subscriber base is lacking compared to people like Netflix and Disney Plus. Plus is going crazy. It's at like nearly 90 million subscribers now, and it's been out for 14 months. Max is way less than that, and HBO Max is only in the United States. That's the other huge point that I'm sure Terry agrees with, is that all these films that are coming out in theaters and HBO Max on the day and date, if your theater's not open, you can't even see it if you're not in the United States on streaming. So it doesn't really fix that problem all that much internationally. And you would think these big blockbusters such as Godzilla would make a lot of money internationally. We'll get to more very soon when it comes to box office numbers for the guinea pig, Wonder Woman 84. Thomas, I'm ranting. You have any thoughts on Warner Bros. V Legendary?
I disagree with you on one aspect, and you're like, the craziest thing is I already kind of forgot what you said because I don't have my notepad out. We're winging today's show and like half-assedly. You were saying that it's crazy. It was most likely to be get better vibes. I don't know. They're more likely to reach a deal and get more financing, Legendary, for this movie because they financed 75% of the thing.
That was what I read. Yeah.
And you're like, yeah, like that's a pretty big deal. They were wanting to make it to put it in theaters. It shouldn't be on streaming. They don't give a damn about anything other than money because they were trying to sell it for $225 million plus, actually, to Netflix, and Warner Brothers blocked him. That is the biggest effing thing to remember here. That's why everyone is calling them former bros, because they're like, no, you can't make money. We're only going to get a small portion of that. We are your daddy. And it's like, bitch, you live in a trash can.
Yeah. I mean,
now I'm ranting.
I'm glad you brought it back up because that's a good point. And it also kind of goes against Legendary. Oh, it's a theater movie where I would think it would. It's just, you're right. It's about money. And of course, Warner Media is not going to let them sell it to Netflix if they have any ability not to, because they want to build up HBO Max. And HBO Max is trying to compete with people like Netflix. Everyone is gunning for Netflix. So if everyone knows all these streaming services, that's their goal. Small or large, and how realistic that is to attain. I mean, how many movies Apple TV Plus has been getting? They got the new Cherry film by the Russo brothers starring Tom Holland that's coming out in March. And that's like a weird deal where it's out in theaters for like a week and then it's on Apple TV Plus. So what are you going to do?
It's going to make you buy Apple TV Plus.
What's that?
It's going to make you get Apple TV Plus.
Yeah, exactly. I have Apple TV Plus because my brother bought an Apple product and you get it for free for a year, like a few months ago.
Mine runs out in February, so I'm sad.
Oh, you're close. It's so close.
I've never used it.
Yeah, exactly. But Apple TV Plus is being smart, and they've been buying movies, which is a smart thing to do because, new releases, there can be a little hype. As we're going to get to the lightning news in just 1 second, we're seeing that, press tours are still kind of happening to build up new projects, and they get some excitement. So it's smart for these studios or these streaming services to buy films, especially in this day and age. Bottom line of all this, I hope Godzilla, really the problem with the HBO Max being day of theatrical release is that it could kill the theaters, and it's not going to help the theaters at all stay alive. That's really my issue with it, because, same day, I can still go see it in a theater if my theater's open, which I'm cool with, right? Like, no, it's not hurting me at all. I guess I'm just still worried when we talked about this the first time, and just in general, that it isn't helping the theaters come back any quicker by putting all these big movies on a streaming service as well, because it's not incentivizing people to go out to the theater then. And of course, we want everyone to be safe, and we want it to be, the right time to go. But at the same time, we want the theaters to survive. We want them to thrive again. We love the theater experience. I know I do, and I know you do. And we want to get back in a packed theater and watch freaking Godzilla and King Kong punch each other. Or K. Rool and DK.
My final thoughts on this.
Yes.
And it's going to be simple. It's math. It's numbers. And that's all money is. We saved the F-bomb. We're good. We're still PG-13. 70. If they were to sold that to the Godzilla to Netflix for $225 million, let's just put it at the low number. Mm-hmm. And they finance 75% of that. They get 75%. My numbers tell me they would be making $168.75 million. So if Warner Media isn't paying Legendary Pictures that amount of money that they would have made, then former Bros Media can suck a fart, because that's up, dude. That is being the ultimate bad guy as a corporation. Like, come on. I know it's AT&T, but bruh, get it together, man. You're dicking over your partners.
All right, we're gonna get the lightning news in just 1 second. I just want to say they should have just talked to the studios on this. This is not gonna be the final story when it comes to Warner Brothers, Warner Media, and a clash and litigation from another studio. And it's just a mess. This whole thing sucks. We get it. COVID, it's shut down the theaters. It's ruined Hollywood. But you have to do. You can't just screw over your partnership with the studio on making a film that fans want to see. And I don't feel like they're putting fans first at all with this stuff. It's all about the money, and it's all just it's just bickering and fighting over a lot of money. But this shouldn't be the case. They should have had a plan.
Yeah,
I think they're just really messing up this whole situation. I think they should have gone movie by movie, had real discussions with the leaders, the producers on those films and the studios, and figured it out and done it a movie by movie thing. I get they're trying to build up HBO Max. I understand the monetary gain they can get from getting HBO Max to be a thriving streaming service, but you can't just screw over all these guys. And now they're going to come out suing you. Are they really going to want to work with you? Are actors going to want to work with you down the road? People are going to second guess working for former media. It's just crazy.
Speaking of actors, we didn't even include the Warner Brothers, former brothers, and Ray Fisher stuff.
Yeah.
Because I am the only one that apparently loves reading that stuff. But like, there's even more of that going on. And they're basically like, it's over. Move
He's
on.
not Flash.
And it's like, oh, is he? Isn't he? There's conflicting reports. And at this point, it's not like I trust Warner Brothers Media or former brothers or At to get their crap together, man. You know, like they're acting imperialish. The AT&T should be just called Ats. You know what I'm saying? We're gonna move. We're gonna keep going. We're gonna speed this up. Now it's my turn to take the microphone. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the Lightning News. My name is Thomas Carter, aka Thor, son of Dale. That's David Thompson. I'm going to go through this really fast, and then I'm going to slow it down because, holy crap, I had to breathe. Wonder Woman 84 box office numbers. David, hit me with them stats real quick.
Yeah, so Warner Brothers, their latest film for HBO Max and theaters, Wonder Woman 84, which has been a critical flop, I guess now. It's rotten on Rotten Tomatoes. But it's hard to, before it'd be like, oh, hey, it was a critical success and then a domestic, like a box office what? Now all the numbers are weird, which stinks. But Wonder Woman 84 took an estimated $3 million, a 47% drop for a domestic total of $32.6 million. So Wonder Woman has grossed $131.4 million globally. That's the number we want to focus on. So Wonder Woman, it's been out for what? 2 weeks now? 3 weeks?
No unearthly idea what year we're even in.
2.5 weeks, because 2.5 weeks. It has grossed 131.4 globally. Now, that is a sad, pitiful number compared to what we were getting in 2019, but it's a different world. The most people watched on HBO Max. I know they had a significant spike on Christmas Day for Wonder Woman. It's hard to read these numbers now, but 130 and it's dropping like a rock, which makes sense because I don't think I think this could, tie into the critical success of it, where it might not be a movie people are going to rewatch in the theater. And right now, I don't really see why they would. It's a long film. You have to go out to a theater, which is, Regal's still closed here. There's 3 Regals and they're all shut down. So
I can go see it in theaters. Holy crap, I forgot ours is open.
Go for it.
I gotta get my shit together and go watch Wonder Woman and cry alone in the theater like I do all the time.
Thomas, any thoughts on their box office success or lack thereof?
Under $100 million globally. I'm sorry.
Under 200.
Foreign. Sorry, yeah. No, foreign is what I wanted to. I said I wanted to. Yeah, internationally. Thank you. That's what it was. I don't know. Stupid reporter.
We got there.
Foreign tally. We got there now. Yeah, dude. Like that's the key. Like 30. What is it? 32 million here. Honestly, surprising. More than I thought they'd make in 3 weeks. I can't lie about it. So that's pretty cool. But globally, yowza. They really dicked themselves by doing the release the way they did. They should have had it come out in theaters for a week or two internationally. Yeah. And then release it on HBO Max because
it released a little earlier internationally.
It's gonna be pirated. It did?
Yeah, it did. I remember because someone at the Direct had seen it, and they they aren't in America. And it would have been like a week before. So I was like, oh, okay. So they did release it a little earlier. So it isn't 2.5 weeks total globally. It's been out for a little bit longer, probably nearly a month now in some places.
Okay, well, that was my thought. Moving on to Deadpool in the MCU. Did I not have? I totally didn't bring in. Oh, that's right. I'm sorry, ladies and gentlemen.
Here we go.
Stop. This is an entire long lightning segment. Each particle in the particle accelerator is going to last about 3 minutes. David, when the horn sounds, we can't yell it at the producers because the producers are us. I'm telling you because I know I'm going to yell at me later. And I do it all the time. Okay. This is titled Kevin Feige is the GOAT. Starting off, Deadpool in the MCU. Let's see if I can pull off a Kevin Feige. It will be R-rated, and we're working on a script right now. And Ryan's overseeing a script right now. It will not be filming this year. Ryan is a very busy, very successful actor. We've got a number of things we're already working. We've already announced that we now have to make. But it's exciting for it to have begun. Again, a very different type of character in the MCU, and Ryan is a force of nature, which is just awesome to see him bring that character to life. Yep. Feige. End quote. David, thoughts?
Super exciting. Deadpool is officially coming. This is the first word, it's the first real word from Feige on the, where they're at in production for this movie. It's going to be rated R. It's going to be in the MCU. How they're going to introduce him, we don't know yet. It's not going to be it makes sense that we haven't heard anything if it's not filming until 2022, It's not filming at all in A1. This is a distance, right? When did the second one come out?
2018.
18, so it's going to be
2 weeks after Avengers? 3 weeks after. It's going to
be 4 or 5 years gap between the second and the third film.
Hey, you know what else is a 5-year gap?
Go.
The blip. Oh my God, it makes sense.
It does. It'll work.
Okay, Fanthor, really quick. He's going to. I didn't hit the start on the timer button. I'm so sorry, everyone. I lied to you. Okay. He goes through 5 years in his universe. Then it happens, and whatever year Doctor Strange is into, he pops in and says he showed up on this Earth in that year, and he's looking for everyone he loves, but everyone is totally different. He doesn't understand why everyone looks so stupid. Boom. Moving on, we have Feige is unsure about Black Widow release date. And I quote, confidence is meaningless in today's world because nobody knows anything. Hope springs eternal. A year delay you would hope would be enough. There's a vaccine out there now. We'll see. I certainly hope so. I want to be back in the theater with people. He goes on to say, at another point in time, we've had that before. Endgame and Far From Home were the same time. We have the pleasure and the privilege of working with the greatest marketing department in the history of Hollywood. So restarting that campaign, any of those campaigns, I have great confidence in. What I don't have confidence in is the timing because we're dealing with this whole pandemic thing. I added things. I just needed to be known.
That's fine. So with this, they're actually okay. I am disoriented. There we go. That's actually so funny. I literally felt off. Who wrote a Variety report? I think just came out just like an hour ago or so. People are reporting on it now. Where along with this quote, they're saying there's whispers that we could get a day and date Disney Plus premiere access for Black Widow. It's not confirmed at all. It's just whispers, and it just goes along with this, right? But okay, I was actually going to say that. I would
100% effing buy that. I don't even care. I don't care if I have rent to pay.
Yeah, I'd figure out how to see it that first day anyway. But I was going to say, if they, based off just the Feige quote, if they can't, if by May 7th, it's like, ooh, this is dicey. Do we put it out? You got to just go day and date with Disney Plus, in my opinion, because we can't delay more. Please. The MCU isn't one of these things like any of these, like Fast and Furious coming up and James Bond, where you can just push it eternally because it's not connected to anything. The MCU is this whole domino effect, and we have all these dates now. We just got so many more for the investors meeting. It's all connected. In my opinion, they need to just go day and date if they don't feel comfortable just doing theatrical. I'm hoping just for theatrical, just to kind of see how that experiment goes, and I'll force people to go to the theater. Not trying to say I'm going to force people to go to the theater, but I want the theater experience, I guess. I hope it's safe enough then that we can do that. I hope things are really looking up by then, and it'll be fingers crossed. Thomas, what were your thoughts? Black Widow questionable for May 7th. We'll see what happens.
Thanks for leaving me 15 seconds.
You're welcome.
I'm excited. I'm honestly, yeah, you know me. I'm excited. I need more. Give it to me. Give me my Marvel drugs. Give it to me, Disney. Give it to me.
Yep.
And we're just gonna let the last 2 seconds run out because I'm lazy. Love it. Absolutely love it. Moving on. This damn well better be fast. She-Hulk, Loki, and Falcon and the Winter Soldier lengths reveal. Kevin Feige, being the goat that he is, said, but She-Hulk, for example, he's discussing about how things will be, each show will be unique in terms of time, tone, etc. She-Hulk, for instance, is being developed as 10 30-minute episodes. Some will be longer and some will be shorter. Loki, Falcon and the Winter Soldier is being developed as 6 40 to 50-minute episodes, which I called
it. I'm excited for this, right? I think I wrote an article, check it out on the direct. It was about how Feige also mentioned, it wasn't that important, so I didn't show notes because there was a lot of Feige stuff that came out where he mentioned, WandaVision is an experiment for a sitcom Disney Plus show. We're in the experimental stage when it comes to these new projects on Disney Plus. She-Hulk would be an obvious choice that could be a future sitcom-like project. And this is more of a confirmation, not a confirmation, but add to that speculation. It's going to be 30 minutes. And I think it works really, really well for what they're going for, where it's going to be a law comedy for She-Hulk. And then exactly what I want. Loki, Falcon Winter Soldier, longer episodes. It'll probably feel a bit more like Mandalorian style, which is what I think would really work for those kinds of shows. Yes. And I think even like Hawkeye, I think I want to be like that sort of style. So very excited. I'm glad they are getting creative with how they're going to do these, lengths. And the beauty of Disney Plus, it's a vast open field of opportunity and new ideas, right? They can do whatever they want. I mean, they could at some point do like 2 episodes, do a movie. Like, it doesn't always have to be like network TV box or the theatrical movie box. Disney Plus can do whatever they want, and I hope they can get more crazy with it. Next story.
Moving on. Feige. Oh no, I'm so sorry. I skipped one. Charles Murphy on Twitter had an interview during this presser, and he said that he just asked Kevin Feige if he would clarify where Phase 4 would end. His response: a prompt no. But Feige, being the goat that he is, allowed him to have a backup question, which is nice.
I will say, okay, you want to throw out what you think?
No, I was going to move on.
I was just going to say really quick, I think just a little glimpse into that, I think there may not be plans for Phase 5, Phase 6. Not in the sense that it's ending, but in the sense that phases are over. I think the phases thing might have just been for, the Infinity Saga. Because especially the way they're laying this out, we're getting like 10 projects this year. There's no Avengers. There's no Avengers, film plan, which is normally like cap off a phase. I think Phase 4 could kind of morph into just keep moving on. Maybe we get back to phases at some point when there's more of an established like group. But we're in an in-between stage of the MCU right now after and everything. And I don't see where they really even need to do the phases anymore. It's exciting to say, it's exciting to speculate about, but I think they may not even go that route anymore after this.
I think they will, but it won't be in the same way. So we didn't know anything about phases until Avengers happened. And so then it was like, okay, well, we'll make this our little graphic novel. We'll make this a little graphic novel. We'll make this a big graphic novel. But if you watch what happens in Phase 3, it branches. You have space and Earth.
True.
That makes it hard to stay linear in that phase, which is why I go more often than not Earth stuff than space stuff. Because, if you skip Guardians and put it just in the space and you put them in chronological order, then you go Guardians 1, Guardians 2, Doctor Strange, et cetera, through to Thor. Right. Thor goes right into Infinity War. If you watch Ant-Man, and Ant-Man and the Wasp is the hardest movie to watch for me in terms of chronological order, because you got to get to a specific effing point, and you can watch it leading up on Earth and then watch the end credit scene at the end, basically after you've watched Infinity War and it leads in. So I think what's going to happen is, instead of having phases, like, it'll be phase 4 of the MCU, and phase 4 is a massive sandbox with multiple I don't want to say timelines, but multiple storylines that are going to, maybe these interweave over here, the spacey stuff. Oh, the multiverse stuff. Oh, the narrowed down the track grounded stuff. I think that's what's going to be. It's going to be levels.
Okay.
Arcs, location even.
Mm-hmm. I like that. I agree with that. My thing with phases and how they might go away from that whole idea, just kind of the name and the point of it is, like you were just saying, it's all these different stories and all these different levels of space and Earth and cosmic, whatever you want to say, like whatever eternal is going to be. Bro. Time, exactly. Loki, Doctor Strange, realities. So
Eternals?
Exactly. The thing is, I think, oh my gosh, I forgot my point. I was sitting on it. I was so ready. The thing is, oh my gosh, hold on. It's lightning news. My brain just flickered out.
Phases going. Bye.
Phases going.
Levels, storylines, time. It's so complex.
I remember now. The thing that defined a MCU phase in the first 3 phases was the culmination of an Avengers film. I don't think we're getting that for a while. And there's going to be a whole phase of films, maybe even 2 phases of films, I think, before we get an Avengers film. And I think that's a smart move, because you don't want to water it down like with Avengers 5. We got 2 Avengers films, which are basically one combined in back-to-back years. I think they're going to try to really, really build the anticipation for another Avengers film. And the amount of different characters we're having on whole different levels of Disney Plus and stuff, everything may not, not everyone's probably going to be in an Avengers film. So I don't think we should really look at it that way anymore. It's basically my point. And I think they're not looking at it that way either. Next.
I agree. Feige discusses Spider-Man 3 rumors. Right. David, is this going to be fast? I think so. I've read some things. I'm not sure I've read all things. The fun thing about online speculation when it comes to our stuff is how sometimes it couldn't be more off the mark, and sometimes it's shockingly close. I don't know why that word was so hard to say. It's shockingly close. There it is. That's held true for the last few years, but saying which is which, take all the fun out of everything. I agree, David.
I agree as well. I like hearing that some is true and some is false. Feige has lied to us in the past, so we'll see. I'm glad he talked about it, right? It's exciting that he's read the stuff. Yeah. He's aware of it. Yeah, pretty cool. Can't wait to hear more. I think they're going to stay hush-hush. Speaking of that really great marketing team they mentioned earlier, I think the marketing for this movie is going to they're going to have to be careful with it. Because this is the most anticipated movie of my year, and for a lot of other people, for the MCU, because it's Spider-Man.
Oh my God, that's this year, isn't it?
End of this year, yeah. 11 months away.
That's the perfect.
It's exciting, man. They're filming it right now. Well, we'll see what happens.
Moving on. Yes. Yeah, I mean, we're trying to move on here. We have a lot to discuss. Feige discusses Black Panther 2. So much of the comics in that first movie is the world of Wakanda. Wakanda is a place to further explore with characters and different subcultures. This was always and initially the primary focus of the next story. We're not going to have a CG Chadwick, and we're not recasting T'Challa. Ryan Coogler is working very hard right now on the script with all the respect and love and genius that he has, which gives us great solace. So it was always about furthering the mythology and the inspiration of Wakanda. There's also the task of honoring and respecting the ongoing learnings and teachings from Chad as well. I got nothing. I think that quote stands on its own.
I love it. I am excited for this movie. Despite everything, I think they're handling this beautifully. That is all.
Marvel calling Spider-Man 3 Homecoming 3 in connection to Doctor Strange. This is also coming from Feige.
Oh, they're all coming Feige today.
The biggest clue is the title of the second Doctor Strange movie, That's the biggest clue of where the multiverse of madness is taking us and how we're exploring that. It's surreal to me that we're talking about a Spider-Man 3. I worked on a movie called Spider-Man 3 many years ago, directed by Mr. Sam Raimi. So this clearly, the shorthand of calling it Spider-Man 3 now, it's fine. We call it Homecoming 3. It's not Spider-Man 3.
Yeah, so it's funny. They don't call it Spider-Man 3 just because there already was a Spider-Man. And I agree with that. Because I don't like how it's really called Spider-Man 3 because there was a Spider-Man 3 and that's an actual movie. And this movie is not Spider-Man 3. Why release the title and something so we can just stop calling it Spider-Man 3? Spider-Man Homebound, Spider-Man.
It's Homecoming 3, bro.
Spider-Man Homecoming 3.
Oh my God. What if it is Homecoming 3?
There's no way.
3 Spider-Men.
Well, I mean, people want. That's why people like it calling it Spider-Man 3. I think because they like Spider-Man 3.
But even better, screw that. Homecoming 3.
They're not going to throw a number in there now. Also, I think that one latest about the cameos is that they will be cameos. I kind of ruined what I was saying. Is that I think here's my idea when we talked earlier about the Spider-Man 3 rumors. What like bulb lit up in my head, where he's like, some are true, some are not. What I would love to see with all of this, and stay with me, people. This is our last topic before Trilogy of Trilogies.
70 seconds.
Beautiful. I think this movie, Spider-Man 3, should not be, if they're going down the path of bringing back Maguire, bringing back Garfield, bringing back all these characters, this should not be that culminating movie if they really want to do it right. If it's just cameos, I'll cry, I'll love it, I'll go home happy, and that'll be it. I hope this movie, they bring Electro back and they bring Doc Ock back and maybe some other characters. I kind of hope we don't see Garfield or Maguire, and it's setting them up for like a Spider-Man movie, a Spider-Verse live action film. I don't want this movie to be it because we know Doctor Strange is coming, and I think there's going to be more multiverse stuff even after that film, even if he like puts it back together, quote unquote. I don't want this film to be that culmination. I still want it to be wrapping up the Homecoming 3 trilogy with Tom Holland and Ned and MJ and all that stuff. And I'm hoping we get the villains and we maybe get the cameos from Maguire and Holland or Garfield. But I hope that this is leading to a bigger film. 71 seconds. Thank you.
You're welcome. We will be right back. That concludes What the News. We're going to take a brief ad break. And we'll see you on the other side. Beautiful. JBauerArt has the graphic design skills you need to develop your next logo and at an affordable price. But he's not just a one-trick pony. Follow JBauerArt on social media to interact during live paintings and see all of his previous artwork, which you can buy exclusively at JBauerArtShop.com. Not only is he an artist, this beautiful son of a blue brings you the Back Talk with Bauer podcast every week with unique guests, and every month he hosts a special Back Talk with Friends episode that can only be described as chaotic and hilarious. Need a video intro or commercial? JBauerArt has you covered. For all of this and more, follow JBauerArt on social media. That's JBauerArt. Check out JBauerArt.com for a full portfolio and JBauerArtShop.com to buy that special painting for you and your loved ones. Elysian Fields. Every 1,000 years, gods of the dead gather with teams of champions to represent them in the abyssal tournament of champions. Our story follows the hero of the Trojan War, Achilles, whose story begins at death, and so his heroic spirit makes its way from peace in the afterlife to an arena. Search Elysian Fields on Kickstarter today. Whoa, what happened? That was amazing. Who did that?
Wow, what a voiceover. Dang.
David, you're amazing, bro. You got Grogu back there just forcing.
I got 2 Grogus and Lego Anakin and Obi-Wan that I haven't built yet because I like looking at the box.
It's over, Anakin. I have a high ground. You underestimate my power.
Yeah, shout out to this tiki. Jasmine's brother bought me it. It's really cool. I like it a lot. It looks like hand painted and stuff.
That's awesome, man. You know what I realized I was supposed to do originally? Play the damn intro.
And stories are told brilliantly, opinions are viewed differently. We bring them all together when you get this great soliloquy. When Trinity leaves affinity, our co-host eyes left Mr. Lee. We present you with another round of the Trilogy of Trilogies.
I think you should make a new one of those for every time we do Trilogy of Trilogies.
I wanna, man. I might update it though. Like, you know me, I'm obsessive about it being perfect.
So here we go. This is our final. This is our trilogy wrapping up here, leading into WandaVision. And today we're basically going to be discussing everything that happens with Wanda and Vision in Infinity War and Endgame. A lot more happens in Infinity War. And then, at the end, we'll fan Thor it up. We'll give you our little fun discussion and preview predictions for WandaVision, where the first 2 episodes, we're going to have 2 episodes to discuss next week, drop on Friday. I'll be watching after with Jasmine because she actually likes Marvel and she's excited for this.
So
and to watch it with someone.
We're switched. I get to watch it first thing in the morning. Oh, happy day.
We are officially reversing roles, and now I have to wait to watch it with someone, and Thomas does not.
You're just gonna get so many things of me screaming into the phone at like 7 o'clock in the morning.
Right. So let's dive in to Infinity War, which was arguably the best MCU movie ever so far. Either of these 2 are the top for me. But rewatching Infinity War, it is a masterpiece. Like this, watching it again, I didn't watch Endgame. I sat there and thought, this is better than. I'm like, this is better than Endgame because I have a ranking of all the MCU movies. Endgame's my number 1. They're basically tied for me because story. They're Endgame's the big payoff, but Infinity War, I think beat for a movie and filmmaking wise, is probably better. It's a bit tighter and it's a long ass movie, and it's still it feels tight. It moves. The story's fantastic. The fact that they made Thanos a not likable.
He's the protagonist, bro.
It's his movie, and we care. Like we care about Thanos. And Gamora is one of the leading characters, and she's not a side character. She's one of the main characters in Guardians of the Galaxy. Just to think that the Thomas.
Why is Gamora?
To think that in 2013, when Guardians of the Galaxy was going to be coming out, and we're like, what is this? I've never read a Guardians comic. What's on? That Guardians of the Galaxy is one of the biggest pinnacle points of the culmination of the entire Infinity Saga. Anyway, let's get into the Wanda and Vision notes, because this Infinity War especially has some great Wanda and Vision moments that are going to lead directly into this show, no doubt about it. So here's the beginning of WandaVision. They've run off to Scotland. They've hidden away. Quick note: I just love the time.
You just unplugged
What's
from
up?
your thing. You just unplugged from your thing.
Oh, I'll be right back.
Technology. So yeah, we start off there in Scotland for 2 years. The Stone is actually speaking to Vision, and you know, he has this great scene there, which I don't remember. As I said, I did not rewatch Infinity War. I just watched The Legends, which is awesome as always. But it gives us for the first time Vision in human form, and all I could think was
awesome.
Paul Bettany's hair is beautiful.
Paul Bettany's a beautiful man. I love Paul Bettany. He's such a good actor. I want him in more stuff, honestly. I want him in like I've only seen him in, you know, as Vision, and then as what's his character's name in Solo. He's good in that as well.
Dryden Voss.
Dryden Voss. There's like a Voss in there. he's good in that. I want to see him in like some random movie on Netflix, like some chick flick. I feel like he'd be really good as.
Oh, okay. In that case, The Knight's Tale.
The Knight's Tale. Okay.
He's in that. Alan Tudyk's in that. Heath Ledger's in there.
Cool.
Dude, it is. Oh, it's such a good movie. I forget how good that movie is because it is so good.
Knight's Tale. All right.
A Knight's Tale or The Knight's Tale, one of the two. But yeah, no, all I can think every time I see Paul Bettany is him just cracking jokes to Alan Tudyk and then Alan Tudyk going, what? Because it's like, it's a Lance, hello. And then he's just like, oh, idiot. He's like, oh, what? Anyways, back to the plot.
So yeah, Paul Bettany in his human form as Vision is awesome to see. And I almost forgot about it where, WandaVision, we'll see what's happening in that show just on a realistic standpoint of like what's actually happening. Because that movie's going to be very like, this is part of a imaginative thing. And we don't really know, like we're going to roll with this story, but what's actually happening once they pull back the curtain in that show, we'll kind of get a better look. But Vision's back, quote unquote. And here seeing him in the human form, this is laying the fundamental ground for where Wanda is maybe getting these, visions of her own, the history in her head of these memories of her and Vision living a domestic life, a life together. They say in this, like a really important part, this is the part I really wanted to focus on, Thomas, was Vision does not want to go back. They don't want to go back. They want to stay there and be a family. And like, there's that sweet moment where it's like, yeah, I think it works. Like, and it's like, yeah, it works. I just thought, what?
You said it, and I'm like, he didn't say it like that. This is why everyone loves Vision. Is this scene? He can't comprehend love and emotions, and so he. Like me, stumbles. I mean, if I'm just speaking for myself, I think, and then she's like, it works. He's like, it works.
Yeah,
and it's just
so
like,
good.
You're so adorable, Paul.
It's such a sweet scene, and I'm so glad I rewatched just literally that moment from WandaVision, just because it reminded me of how cute they were, which is hilarious because he's an android. But in that moment, he's in his human form. You're not thinking about that. He's not green and red. And their relationship seems so strong at that time. And I think almost going through with it didn't sort of help that. And now they're like, they had this kind of deal with Cap and all of them, like kind of the exterior Avengers that are like outside the
secret Avengers.
Yeah, the secret Avengers
is what you were looking for.
Yeah. And there's that moment, obviously, when now I forget. I wrote aliens in the notes because I can never remember Thanos' henchmen when one of them stabs Thanos.
It's Proxima Midnight and Corvus Glaive.
Corvus Glaive, I think, is the one that stabs him initially in the back. It's like, oh, that's like it's almost like a jump scare moment where it's like, oh my gosh,
it's a jump scare. It tripped me out in the Legends episode. I knew it was coming, and it still got me.
And I mean, you see him turn back into form, and it's like unbelievable because to this point, Vision's like hasn't really been touchable except for when Wanda puts him in the ground in Civil War.
Yeah,
but especially like that where you normally like phase through it and he's all beat up. And there's a cool action scene. It's funny. I noted that it's almost like them at their weakest at that point because he's been sliced, and Wanda is really having a hard time putting up a fight with these people, which is kind of surprising because we see how powerful she is later on. But she was thrown completely off guard. They're Thanos' henchmen, or whatever you want to call them, the disciples. They're really strong beings. And my only issue was that when the secret Avengers, as he called them, come in, like Black Widow just like kicks their ass immediately. I'm like, what? Black Widow like has no problem, but Wanda was like struggling. Whatever.
Here's why Wanda was
little tiny nitpick.
It's a little nitpick, but you gotta remember she's literally trying her best to save her lover's life. And she has not yet, like, let's be real. Her entire power set is based off emotions.
True.
Okay? Like, the more pissed she is,
she's scared in this time.
Yeah, and she's scared, and she's on the defensive, and she's got a strong amount of love that's just pure and defensive. But like, she's also in a weird way, like, all right, I can hold these guys off. It is what it is, and if if things would have gone wrong and they would have killed Vision, I don't think they live. I think she incinerates them.
Yeah. So here we go.
So-
That's a good point because like I kind of saw on Ultron.
Yeah.
The stone warning Vision. I think you already touched on that. How the stone communicating with Vision and having these things is so fascinating to me. And I think in Infinity War and Endgame, it's one of my biggest that I've never really spoken on that I've always just thought. My biggest, it's not even that big of an issue. It's a little nitpick. All of the stones get devalued when they're all together. When like individually, they're so interesting, right? Like the Mind Stone communicating, and we see the Power Stone and Guardians like can take over worlds. Where when they're all together on the Gauntlet and they get all of them, you don't get those unique kind of look at them. They kind of feel, whereas in when there's one of them, it's like, oh my gosh, like that is a stone, the Time Stone. I'm not saying that them don't still have their unique traits and are like these really powerful entities. I'm just saying that when we get their individual moments, they seem so much more like, holy crap. And I think it would be more fascinating to explore them even more, even though we did so much, especially the newer ones, like the Soul Stone. I would like to see more of, right? Because that ability, we still don't really know. That's the most mysterious one, is the Soul Stone, because it was the last one. Well, no, not the last one he found, but it was the last one he knew where it was.
He learned about.
Exactly. And its ability was never used outside of one of these movies, whereas we saw the Tesseract, we saw the Time Stone and the Mind Stone. And the Mind Ether, exactly. And the Mind Stone is, it and the Tesseract are the two OG stones, because they're both in the original Avengers, and we see the Mind Stone working, for good and for bad. And it's honestly maybe my most favorite stone, if that's even a thing, just because of how it's used in the Avengers.
The Mind Stone?
Yeah, just because it's in his staff, it's in Loki's staff, and that's its own thing. And then it goes in Vision's head, and that's just this. I mean, that creates Vision and it makes it unique, and it beams out. It's a really interesting thing that I think you kind of lose when it's all on the Gauntlet, just because they're all there, and it's really cool seeing. What's awesome is when you see Thanos using them in different ways. Even just the opening of Infinity War, when they wreck Asgard and kill Heimdall and kill Loki, and you see him destroy the ship, and then they're gone with the Space Stone. It's awesome. Yeah. The Mind Stone's unique. You don't see it much when it's on the Gauntlet because it's kind of hard to use that one. I feel like we never see it at all when it's on the Gauntlet. Like, wouldn't it have been cool if you touched someone and then all of a sudden they were like mind wiped? I don't know. I'm just nitpicking, but I really like the Mind Stone. I think it's really cool, and I like how they try to break it. Thomas, I'm babbling.
Make good points. I agree. I wouldn't say it's my favorite stone.
We'll say your favorite stone, Thomas. This is a random.
I don't even honestly.
Segment within a segment.
Honestly, let's be real. It's the Time Stone.
Time Stone. Okay, I thought you would have said Space Stone, Tesseract.
I almost went Space Stone because I would love to instantaneously transport my body to another place in time,
right,
and space. Technically, it's both because if you do it instantaneous, it's time moves on. But I mean, because of my love of time travel movies and time travel in general, I'd probably go with the Time Stone, just because. Like, which one would I prefer to have on me? The Space Stone.
Right.
I don't want the responsibility of dealing and fixing time. Not at all.
And they do. Okay, I'm gonna take it a little bit back. They do justice to the stones in a lot of ways. Like how Doctor Strange is like, I'm sworn to protect it, all this stuff. It's interesting how Loki has it at the end. He stole it from Asgard. It wasn't destroyed or whatever. And he's like, you really are the worst, brother. Thor says that. And there's all those good bits with it. We do get to the quick line where for the Power Stone, Thanos was like, he already went to oh my gosh, where the Nova Corps is, and grabbed the Power Stone and like decimated Xandar and grabbed the Power Stone. Like, we get that kind of throwaway line, but that's going. Mm-hmm. I just think these movies are. I mean, this film is just about capturing the stones as a Thanos perspective.
It's a effing heist film.
Yeah, we go from a heist film from Thanos' perspective, and then a time from the Avengers' perspective. Just one. Russo's love heist.
I just realized that, bro. Oh my god.
Yeah.
Yes.
Here we are, Trilogy of Trilogies.
Russo brothers, give me more heists.
Cherry, I don't know, maybe heist.
That movie's everything.
I'm excited for that movie.
He's
Later
a
on-
bitch. He's a lover. He's a child. You don't get this because you were not alive.
I don't. Moving on in the film, kind of the next time we get back to Wanda and Vision is Vision realizes, oh, Wanda is what's capable of destroying the stone. Because at this point now in the movie, they know Thanos is coming. Ruffalo's Bruce Banner's back, and he's like, oh my gosh, Thanos is going to try to get all the stones. If he does, he's going to kill all of us. So Vision's very pro. We got to destroy the stone so Vision can never get it. Wanda does not want to do it. And that's basically that, where it's like the moment is Vision's like, we got to get this out of my head. We got to destroy it. Wanda's like, I don't know. Like, we don't want to do that. And that's going into Wanda. That's a good connection to think about, where like Wanda, like there's this whole discussion that happens, and it's a really where Mark Ruffalo is like, you know, Vision is a very complex mixture of Ultron, Tony, the Stone, me, and yeah, and it's like we can take it out, and probably most of them will still be there, but they go away from that because like Captain America is like, you know, we're not gonna sacrifice one life to save others. We're not gonna sacrifice all these lives. And then Vision goes, well, how's this any different from back in the 40s when you landed the plane that was heading to New York with the bomb? It's a great scene. It's a great, story tie-in for the MCU. And it's a big debate where they probably should have just destroyed it right then in hindsight. But Wanda, if it hadn't been for the connection to Wanda, they may have. It's because we know Steve cares a lot about Wanda. We get that in Civil War. He's kind of like her big brother, kind of mentor kind of thing.
Take, bro. I like this take.
And if it wasn't for the Wanda connection, the WandaVision connection, they might have just been like, Vision, that's tough. Like, douche, we're getting it out of your head. Like, we're going to figure out a way to destroy it.
I think Cap would have still been against it. You know,
I do. Yeah, I agree.
Everybody else would have been a little bit more like, you know, maybe we do. And you can even see like Widow. She's like, we might have to do this. Like, this is going to suck for all of us, but we genuinely might have to do this.
Yeah.
And he's the one who's like, we got to destroy the stone. And then,
he's willing.
Here's my thing. Even Ruffalo, Banner.
I know. I keep saying
I know. Even Banner was like, you know, if we do remove the stone, then we could destroy the stone, and we still have Vision, and he should be able to withstand that. And it honestly is probably going to be the best parts of Vision.
Yeah, that's the cool part too, right?
That's why would they try to do it. And I love just the quick line of Shuri just asking, like, why didn't you just link them all into a singular network? And he's like, because we didn't think of that.
Vision's just
and
like,
it's like, and she's and she's like,
yeah, just
like what are those? Like,
let's jump to that. So that scene ends where, oh, I have an idea. I'm Captain America, and it cuts to Wakanda and getting Bucky back, and then later we get to Wakanda again with the Earth Avengers team in Infinity War.
Sound the alarms.
Shuri's trying, and because Shuri's this genius on like a Tony Stark style level. They're like, all right, Shuri can probably get it out. She in Wakanda, they have all this crazy technology. Because that was the issue with getting the stone. Because they ended that first scene we spoke of with, all right, let's just try to get it out of his head and like keep away, not destroy it, but get it out of Vision's head so he doesn't just kill Vision immediately, right?
Yeah.
Now they're trying to get it out of his head in Wakanda. It doesn't happen, right? They've run out of time. It's over. Vision has to fight because the same, I forget,
Corvus Glaive.
Corvus Glaive comes in to like the little laboratory that Shuri was working on, because if she had time, she would have been able to get it out. But it was a very tricky procedure, obviously, because the stone is, one, very powerful, and two, it's like keeping Vision alive. It's a main part of him, and it's a main part of his being. They run out of time. Obviously, for everyone that's seen Infinity War, which is I'm sure everyone watching this, the big fight happens. Thanos comes down eventually. Boom. And we get the awesome, I would say, impeccable moment of the movie. That's just beautiful and impeccable. It's so heartbreaking and such a great moment. That is honestly like, this movie is why they're making WandaVision for a lot of reasons, just because they're dynamic. And we get a big callback from the beginning where it's like, Wanda, it's time. They're defeated. Thanos is just wrecking shop, coming through their stones. It's time. She goes, no.
Can we act this out? Who do you want to be? You want to be Vision or do you want to be Wanda?
I'll be Wanda.
Okay. Wanda, it's time.
No.
They can't stop him, Wanda. But we can. Look at me. You have the power to destroy the stone.
I can't act. She's like, her lips like quivering. And it's really good acting by Elizabeth Olsen. And she's like, don't. And she's like, she's trying to look away. She's like, she gets like pulled back to like she's like, don't. Like, I can't take it. It's honestly such an emotional scene. Go on.
You must do it. Wanda, please. We are out of time.
Also, quickly. Oh, wait, can you hear me still?
Oh, no, man. You're gone.
Oh, no.
Technology. I'll continue by myself since technology is being a jerk. I can't. Yes, you can. You can. If he gets the stone, half the universe dies. It's not fair. It shouldn't be you, but it is. It's all right. You could never hurt me. I just feel you.
And I'm so sick of this issue going on with my thing. But anyway, it's such a good scene. And a moment where it's like, I just feel you, the callback to the beginning of the movie. If we get an I just feel you moment in WandaVision, oh my God, dude. Please give me that line. That's the fan service I want. So I took some notes specifically on this scene because I think it's so important and such a critical part because she has to kill Vision. Of course, it gets reversed and Thanos brings him back and kills him himself and grabs the stone, which is just even more heart-wrenching because it's like, no, the bad guy's actually winning. The look of joy / relief by Vision, by Paul Bettany, when he feels the stone about to break is just incredible acting. Like, you see the like joy and relief on Vision's face by Paul Bettany when because you start to see the stone actually break. It was like, oh my gosh, she can actually do it, right? Because it was all just a theory before then that she can break it. And he realized like, and that means they're gonna win, right? Like that means he's not gonna get all of them. It doesn't happen that way. Olsen's performance, Elizabeth Olsen, is incredible in this scene. Like I was saying earlier, like I could never do that justice because she's trying to fight the bad guy, but also fight these deep-rooted feelings that she has to do this to actually defeat him. Not just, it's like when you're trying to put something off because you don't want to face something, but you know it's eventually going to come around the corner and you have to deal with the bigger issue because she's trying to just fight Thanos. Oh yeah, hurt him a bit. That's never going to work. You have to destroy the stone in order for it to win. And you see that struggle and her finally give into it because she has to. And it's just her, Thanos, and Vision, and the stone is the one thing, and she's the one thing in between it, right? Yeah, and
literally, man.
Honestly, just an incredible scene. So here's the last thing for Infinity War. This is the worst death of the film, in my opinion. As the others were dusted away and only sort of dead, Vision is dead. And that's the thing with WandaVision, right? Like, Vision doesn't actually come back, right?
Yeah.
You know, shrug, but after this movie, he's dead. Like, it's just over for him. Because they didn't take it out and leave part of Vision behind. He just ripped out half of his skull and left him there to die. And while others dusted away, including Wanda, so there was never any like fault. She couldn't stay by his body. She dusted away. Traumatic moment. But Vision's dead. And that's why WandaVision's gonna be such a who knows what's gonna happen in that show because of that. How he's back. I love that he's back because I love Paul Bettany. Can't wait. Let's move into Endgame, shall we?
Yes. This should be easy.
This is so super quick because Wanda only comes in at the end, and immediately, who are you, Thomas?
I'll let you choose, man. I could do both of these back to back if I had to.
I'll do Thanos.
Okay. You took everything from me.
I don't even know who you are.
You will.
Oh, I didn't even know that line. It's so good. And so here's the moment where everyone's been losing their minds. Feige's referenced it because it's like, who's the most powerful Avenger? Thanos, in desperation, is like rain fire on his people, on the Avengers, on everyone, because Wanda, after that line, has got him in such a hold with her abilities, like with however you call her abilities, that his straps are pulling off his armor. He's like locked up. You can tell he has nowhere to go, and desperately calls for rain fire because Wanda was about to kill him, right? Wanda was about to rip him in half, which is just incredible. And I think even less so in WandaVision and maybe more so in Doctor Strange is a tease for how her abilities can be used and how powerful she really is. Because from all, we'll see how the second half of WandaVision is, but from all reports so far, we're going to get a lot of the fun sitcom-y stuff in this show coming. Not a lot of big high action. There doesn't even really seem to be much of a villain in this show, which is kind of interesting if you think about it. It's not like, oh, that's the main antagonist, right? Like we have in, say,
not yet,
right? But I think look at her abilities like that. We've seen moments like in Ultron when Pietro dies and the Ultron bots just disintegrate. This was another amazing moment just to show off how powerful Wanda is and how cool her abilities really are. And I can't wait to see them in WandaVision and Doctor Strange. Next line, which is the final bit of our WandaVision recap here.
I wish there was a way that I could let her know that we won. We did it.
She knows. They both do. Such a good moment. And honestly, when I was getting all the notes together for our show, it's like, this is kind of a mentally stable Wanda reaction. She's like, they know. Yeah, they know. But in WandaVision, I don't think we're going to get much mental stability at the beginning of the show or for the entire show.
Grief, for some people, the first stage of grief is shock. And right. She was in shock, broken, and then it's, we're going to kill the guy that killed Vision.
Yeah, let's go.
I have purpose now. And then she didn't kill him. And I think that's going to be the start of it. A little bit.
True. Yeah.
But she did destroy his sword, which destroyed the vibranium shield. So there's some thoughts there. That was the thought. That was the whole thought, just so we're clear.
So yeah, that's a really good touching moment. Obviously talking about
and it brings back the Hawkeye, the Wanda Clint relationship,
Correct.
If you go out there, you are an Avenger.
Yep. It's a really good callback to those two, their relationship, and also the relationship we see build even further in Civil War when he's the one that comes and rescues her and pulls her out of the bunker from Vision. There's so many complex backgrounds once you get to this film of all these characters. When you go back and really look at like all the different interactions, especially when you go back into Civil War, where who was against who and all that different stuff. Yeah. Really great moment, and that's it for Wanda and Vision in Infinity War and Endgame. Obviously, the Endgame roles is minimal, but Infinity War really sets up WandaVision. And Thomas, kick it off with you, kick it off with me. What want us to do predictions or just what we're thinking is going to happen in this show? How about just what we think is going to happen in episodes 1 and 2? What are we expecting from this show? How about that?
I'm expecting high comedy of the highest degree. If they let me down, I'm going to boycott the entire show. No, I'm just I'm 100% blowing smoke. I do actually expect high comedy. I expect good old-fashioned 50s I Love Lucy sitcom stuff. And I just love that. The first 2 episodes, I think, if there's 9 episodes and they're going through, 6 decades or something like that, right? Isn't that how many timepieces? We got 5, 50, 60, 70s, 80s, 90s.
More than 5.
Now-ish.
Yeah.
So I think the first 2 episodes will be the 50s and 60s.
Okay.
I think they'll only go 2 episodes in black and white. Then I think they'll go to color in episode 3. Or actually, at the end of that episode, I think they'll go to color, and it'll be left on like a, well, what do you suppose was that?
Yeah.
That's the hot take. That's the line I think it'll end on. Because they watched. They watched at the very end. They watched themselves go color, and it's like, well, what do you suppose caused that? It's, kind of vibe. So, I think that'll probably be what happens in the first 2 episodes. The rest of it, David, what do you think is going to happen in the first 2 episodes?
I would tend to agree with what you're saying, where I think we will get maybe 50s, 60s vibes. I think definitely in the first episode, it's pretty much been confirmed because they've said like, oh, we first one in front of a live audience. That's going to be that really like sitcom-y 1950s. A lot of humor. I think a lot more character dynamic between those two. I'm thinking, hot take, I feel like flashbacks are going to be a thing in this movie. And maybe not just flashbacks, pull-outs and look at reality from where they are right now in the show. It may not happen in this episode, but I could be wrong, but I feel like in every episode, we're not just going to be sitting in 1950 sitcom. I think there's got to be, because that's how Marvel always does it. I mean, it's totally new, where this is the first Disney Plus show, but I feel like there's got to be this like pullback moment, right? That's crazy.
Yeah, I not only agree, I can provide evidence of that. In one of the trailers, we hear Agent Wu saying, Wanda, what's going on? Who's doing this to you? And it's coming over a speaker. I think we are going to get that. Whether or not we actually see that is up for debate, but it'll definitely be, hey, by the way, audience that doesn't understand everything going on here, this is not normal.
Here's my final thing for the first 2 episodes that we're getting on Friday, because we're getting 2, and that's the point. I think we're getting 2 because the first one is going to be literally just like 1950s I Love Lucy ham sitcom setup. Then the second one, by the end of that, we're getting a bit more. We're seeing some of behind the scenes of what's actually happening, or just interactions that are a little off, right? Because that's how we've seen a bit in the trailers too. Just like interactions between them where it doesn't really seem right, or some like almost like malfunctioning of the simulation, which is what it feels like this movie or this show's all going to be about. The nosy neighbor, Monica Rambeau is going to show up at some point, but that seems like it's going to be later on, because that's when they're in their like 70s or 80s outfits, when Monica Rambeau pops up in that one trailer.
Rambeau, not Rando.
Rambeau, yeah, I just mispronounced it.
Be like that.
And we know she'll have a part because she's going to be in Captain Marvel 2, so she's going to have a pretty set up role in this film.
She's a big deal.
I think this show, after episode 3, so going into episode 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, wait, 9. Yeah. I think after episode 3, it's going to be a lot more pulling back the curtain. Whereas in the first 3 episodes, and especially these first 2, I think in the second one we'll get like a glimpse maybe, but I don't think, if you're expecting a action Marvel movie of this show to begin with, it's not going to be that. It's going to be a lot of comedy. It's going to be a lot of character development. It's going to be weird and wacky. And I think that's what they're going for. This wasn't supposed to be the first overtime. This wasn't supposed to be the first phase 4 project. And I think it's for a reason. Feige has now come back and said this is the best way to start it off. I don't think so, just because this is not a safe project. And that's not saying it's going to be bad. I am very excited. I think it's going to be fantastic. I'm saying for a more casual audience, like say Jasmine when watching it on Friday, like what the hell is going on? Right? Like what is
be asking you questions that you don't know the answers to, because you're also not sure what's going on.
Yeah, and it's gonna be this weird, like it's not gonna feel like a MCU project really. Yeah. You'll be familiar characters and all that, but I think that's really gonna be it. And I'm very excited. I'm amped for the wacky. And come on, guys. Like, final thoughts. This is the first freaking phase 4 project. It's finally here.
Yes! Four guys! I'm sorry, fangirl.
We haven't gotten anything in like 500 some odd days since Spider-Man Far From Home, which feels like it's been out forever. Like, come on. We're finally, whatever it is, we're going to get a Marvel Studios logo for a new piece of content, and I cannot wait. I just wrote an article. It was about how they're doing the weekly releases, just like Mandalorian, and how all of the other shows are going to be doing that as well. It's just the Disney Plus way. Unlike Netflix.
It is the way.
Selfishly, I wish WandaVision was all at once. Just because this show, you really have to take a step back and look at the full arc of it to get everything that's happening. It seems like it's going to be like, it'll be pretty tight in when we're just looking at them in the sitcom and all that. But to learn what all is happening, and just because it's been so long since Marvel, oh my gosh, I'm just going to want to keep going. So I'm grateful there's 2 episodes in week 1. That'll give me a good taste of like what's to come and just of Marvel, and plenty for us to talk to on next week's show. But I really wish just for this show, I like it generally because it builds up hype, and it was really fun with Mandalorian, the weekly releases. But man, just because it's been so long, and we know this show is going to really have a interesting ending for sure. It's gonna, we know it ties right into Doctor Strange. So I really wish we could just watch it all at once. But I'm excited to wrap it up whenever it will in late February, early March.
Early March. It should be 1 week between this and Falcon and Winter Soldier.
Yep. Thomas, any final thoughts with WandaVision? We will have it to speak on next week.
I am ready. My body has gone through strong Marvel drug withdrawals, and I need my Marvel drugs at Disney. And again, here's a fan theory that I've said a couple different times here now.
Thunderbolts.
We might be okay. First off, yes, not for this show. If we get it in this show, consider me 100% unexpected. That wasn't even a proper sentence. That's how caught off guard I will be if they show up. This could be Marvel content, and it with Legends, it should be every single week starting last Friday. We'll have Marvel content every fucking week, bro.
No, I think there's going to be a break in between this and Falcon. 1 week.
1 week. Legends.
Right. Oh, good point.
Yeah. So that'll be we'll get that.
Good point.
And then here's the crazy part, bro. Like whether or not they have another one announced after that one ends, that'll be 6 weeks for Falcon and Winter Soldier. So that should take us into about May. I'm going to do the math right here live, ladies and gentlemen. Comes out March 12th or 19th? 19th.
Okay.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So then there'll be. Is that May 2nd? What? Oh, I was in the wrong month.
May 7th.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. April 30th will be 1 week in between the end of Falcon and Winter Soldier and the start of Black Widow. So that means April 30th, we should probably be getting Marvel Legends on Black Widow. And then it comes out on the 7th. And then they could literally start May 14th, May 21st. I'm calling it right here, right now. May 21st will be the start of Loki. And after Black Widow on the 7th, on the 14th, they'll do a Loki Legends. And then I'm calling it. I called it. That's my big take.
There
Obviously,
it is.
WandaVision, but that's the big take, baby.
All right.
And sometime in that same area, we should also have, totally unrelated to Marvel at all, but I love it. So we're going to talk about it real fast. Bad Batch.
Yeah.
Like, I think they're
Disney
going to
Plus.
release it about the same time as they did Clone Wars last year.
Mhm.
I think they will. I genuinely think they'll release it around the end of February. Because why the frack not? Especially when they have Vision's anime coming out as well as Boba Fett in December. So you got plenty of time there. You'd say it's, what was it, 12 weeks? That's a long time. That went to June, July, I think.
Yeah.
Clone Wars last year. So if they go that same route of, 12 episodes, but if they go 20, bro, they go 20. Oh my God. Oh my God. But that kind of wraps up.
Thomas.
David.
We wrap that up. I'm going to need you to play the What the News intro really quick. We have breaking news.
We have breaking news. Calm down, everybody.
What the news?
Jared Leto's Morbius movie has been officially delayed. It was set to come out.
Down.
What's up?
We were so high on Marvel and getting the content, and then instantly just stabbed me in the heart.
Blame Sony. But it makes sense, right? Morbius set to come out March 19th. It was initially set to come out in July of 2020. Never happened. Is now set to come out on October 8th, 2021. So a significant delay once again. And the biggest issue I see here, Thomas, is the domino effect. That means Venom is going to get delayed, most likely. What does that mean for Spider-Man 3? Hopefully nothing, but we'll see. That is obviously a Sony in collaboration with Disney film, but Morbius has been officially delayed for a second time. Another significant delay. It'll be coming out. It's going to be coming out 15 months, 14 months after it was initially supposed to. That movie's been done. It's booked. It's in a can somewhere.
I'm angry. We have to move on. What about Venom? When is that supposed to release before they delay it next?
I believe, let me double check, but I believe it's currently set for July.
Okay.
Venom 2 release date June 25th, at the end of June. So that still could stay. If those movies do not have to go one after the other, like in that sequential order, then Venom could stay there and Spider-Man 3 could be safe in December. We'll see. I think this is a good sign it's a good sign for Venom, because if we're getting a confirmation of Morbius, you'd think they'd throw in Venom as well. I don't know if that's the assumption that release date or that news is coming. But as of right now, it's just Morbius being delayed. So we'll see what that means for the future, but we have another delay and no bueno. But we kind of expected that one because that's March. That's really soon. I kept saying that, where it's like Morbius is supposed to come out in March. That's very soon, but oh well, let's wrap it up. This has been a good show. Sorry for ending on a bummer.
2020 is still alive. David, where can everyone find you on social media?
Yeah, you guys can find me at David Thompson on Facebook, at David J. Thompson on TikTok and Instagram, and at David Thompson with 2 A's in the David on Twitter. Go follow me on Twitter. It's where I'm most active. It's where I like to be. It's my favorite social media. Go follow me there. Thomas, how about you?
You can find me at Thomas Carter Rochester -actor on Facebook, at Thomas Carter Rochester, all one word, no hyphens, no spaces, and at TC Rochester Act. That is TCROCHESTERACT. And on YouTube, it is Life of Thor. Be on the lookout. I said it was going to be this week. It might be in the next couple of weeks. I will be dropping new social media for Life of Thor Productions, which is kind of one of our parent. It's the main production company that we run, David and I. He doesn't like to admit that he's involved, but we are. So that'll be coming out soon. And don't forget, on our Facebook page, to go to that pinned post, join the group, vote for us, as well as leave a comment, and you'll be entered into the randomized raffle of a free audiobook of Light of the Jedi. Again, you cannot have accepted a book from a friend yet, and that is the way it will be free. This is the way. We also have the shop, where you can find that beautiful effing shirt, this beautiful effing shirt, as well as a lot of other stuff. I was going to wear a mask, but all the ones I have would have just erased my face, and I didn't want to do that. So, so you can go to our shop. That is lotproductions.threadless.com. You'll see the promo at the end of this episode again. We've been nominated for the podcast of the year. Oh, I already said that stuff. Well, let me put that link in the comments, ladies and gentlemen.
Go vote for us, please.
Yes, please go vote for us. Also, I'm going to post the the zombies link for the GoFundMe in the bottom. I'm an actor in that. It is a sci-fi classic feature cheese fest written and directed by Alicia Marie, starring local talent from the Emerald Coast about, you guessed it, zombie bees. Want to keep up with the buzz? Give the official Facebook page a like/follow and join the Honeybrick Road as we progress toward production and through all the way until the official premiere. We're looking for assistance. You don't have to donate, but we ask that you just share. And on top of that, actually, like I'm already here, I'll be on a live interview this Thursday promoting zombies.
Cool.
Check them out all on the social medias. The Trouble Trooper podcast, the first ever Troopy Awards. I said this last week. I'm going to say it again. I'm going to post the link.
Yeah.
We're going to be recording, I should say, not filming. Filming is for the video stuff. The second ever Troopy Awards for Mandalorian Season 2. We're going to be doing that this week, so it should be coming out sometime next week. And the Derek Diamond Experience episode that I was on is now live officially. Came out Thursday, so head over to that link. We just blew up the chat with links. Also, before we move on, I just want to say thank you to everyone in the comments. We see you. We're having fun. Pop, Terry McIver, Crookie Monster, Alfred. Thank you all for joining us. We love you. We thank you. David, what do you have to promote?
You guys can find me on the direct.com along with everyone else on the direct.com, but especially my stuff because I'm the one that hosts this podcast. So head on over to the direct.com.
Shameless plugger. Shameful plugger.
Yeah, we're on the direct.com. Check out all the Marvel news. We got a whole bunch where a lot of our news from today came from, all the Feige stuff. Morbius just dropped. I'm about to write an article right now. So go check it out. That'll be up.
Morbius?
Not about Morbius. It is about WandaVision tying into Doctor Strange and Spider-Man 3. Go check that out in a little bit.
Lit.
Thank you,
David, what's next week? Please read it word for word.
WandaVision. No, WandaVision is next week, ladies and gentlemen. This is how I get excited. We finally have Marvel back. Phase 4 is here.
You typed this out, and I wanted to hear you yell it.
I don't yell, man. I yell in text.
I will do it then. Wanda mother effing Vision Phase 4. Yeah.
See, that's exactly what I wanted to happen.
Okay,
we finally get,
dude, I can't wait.
We're getting Marvel, ladies and gentlemen. It's finally back. We'll be discussing it right here on Let's Interaction, episode 41. We will begin our journey with WandaVision. Every week from now until the end, we will be talking about WandaVision. Trilogy of Trilogies is on pause until we need to get it back in some other time. But for now, we've got.
How are we going to squeeze in any kind of trilogy of trilogies for Falcon and Winter Soldier? Thank God for Legends, actually. Oh my God.
Legends will probably take place of it. But hey,
yeah,
we got a lot of new content to talk about, and we can't wait to. So we got 8 weeks, 9 episodes of WandaVision to go through in the next 8 weeks, and we have the first 2 discussing next week. So get ready.
Oh, wow.
WandaVision, here we go.
We're doing it. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for joining us on episode 40. We're old men now in the podcast game. Now, episode 40 of Lights, Thunder, Action. We're going to play, we need money, and we want you to have cool content that we, mostly Terry McIver has created. So thank you for joining us. David, you're going to cut all that out of the audio. I know it. So shouts.
Hello, I'm Thor, son of Dale, here to tell you about the Life of Thor Productions official shop, the only place where you can get your official merchandise for the Lights Thunder Action podcast and Life of Thor's Thor Watches series. Whether you want t-shirts, tanks, hoodies, mugs, and masks, Life of Thor Productions official shop has you covered. If you happen to recognize there's an item that you would like to buy that is not in the official shop, head over to the Lights Thunder Action podcast or Life of Thor and request that item, because if you want it, we'll sell it. Just head to lotproductions.threadless.com/collections to get the item that calls out to you via the Force. Again, that is lotproductions.threadless.com/collections. Thank you, and have a Thortastic day.